Oh yeah, the Bentley. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about that one. Hold on. Let me get comfortable. Hold on. Come to the place where the real ones learn. Yeah. Lessons from the life and the tables turn. Where university. Yeah. We rise, we build, we earn. So yo, I just came from the studio. Shout out to Rome. Doing what I love, having fun. Um, but it got me to thinking. I'm driving around. I'm driving in my little Beta, my Impala. Although I love this car, it's one of my favorite cars. It got me thinking about all the cars I done had in my life. Like, and I done drove some shit, y'all. Like, for real. This back to 2016. Back to the Future shit is like taking on a life of its own. But like, I've like had some crazy cars. I was in a DeLorean before that. That joint wasn't mine. I ain't gonna front. But I feel like I want to get one. So that's a crazy joint. But I remember I had a Sebring back in the day. That joint was a drop top. It was red. This was like oh three, something like that. That joint was crazy. The drop top Sebring. I used to love that car. I drove that joint so much. I bought that shit from the auction. That was a fire joint I had. Um, I remember I had the Oldsmobile Aurora. That's when I first opened my tag place. I had the Oldsmobile Aurora. That joint had a TV in it. I could take the TV in and out of the dashboard joint. That joint was crazy. That was like '06. That was a wild time for me, y'all. Like I was out here in these streets. You hear me? But yeah, I'm trying to think. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all some pictures of some stuff. Hold on. So yeah, like just to show a few, it got me to reminiscing. Like I really had a lot of cars, like beater cars, crazy cars, exotic shit. It's wild. I even rode motorcycles for a little bit. I had a motorcycle license. I had a Hayabusa. I had this little beater bike when I first started riding. Yeah, I had to never wore a helmet. Always trying to show off. Typical Jason, right? My first car was a Chevy Cavalier. I got that joint from the auction, and that joint went bad right away as soon as I bought it. Drove that joint like 3 days, and I had to change the heater cord in the joint. That joint just was a bad investment. Then I remember I bought this oh no, shout out to my first car though was the Mercury Cougar. We used to get it in that joint back in the day. I remember I drove that joint with no brakes. Like I literally had no brakes on that car. Word to Marcus. No brakes on the Cougar. But then I got this Thunderbird from the auction. I paid $30 for that car. And I had that car for like 2 years. That car was around. Um, what else did I have? Hold on, let me see what else I got in the vault. So yeah, the Bentley. Interesting story about that. So I had a couple BMWs. I had most notably the 745. Everybody in the city knew that joint. That was the joint. My baby mom had it. I was out of town, and something happened to it, and I wound up having to send her a tow truck for that joint. That was that situation. But so I had that joint. I had this black 750, the Li joint. That joint was fire. And I remember one time I had hired one of my boys to drive me in that. He thought I was trying to flex on him. I paid him to drive the car, and he like felt some type of way. It was weird, but whatever. Those days are gone. And then I had this 645, my little toy. I love that car. I actually had a black one too, but the blue one was the one. That was the drop top. I loved everything about that car. That car was so sexy to me. I just felt sexy every time I drove that bitch. Oh my God, that was a car. That might have been one of my top five out of all the cars that I had. But case in point, I used to get the cars from this guy named Mark that I knew. I used to do business with. Shout out to Mark. Um, good dude, hold your head. Yeah, real people, real time shit. But we would do so much business that the cars just started to become like a thing. Like, he'd be like, yeah, here. I throw him some bread. He throw me the keys. I had this truck. Was like, yo, I really got no need for it. Gave it to him. He threw me the 750. I'm like, damn. Real shit. I tell people all the time, I never had a car note. It's just business was real good at the time, but I never had a car note. Never had a car note. None of the cars I drove, and I drove a lot of cars. I've never had a car note before ever in my life. So, crazy shit. He come to the office one day, and he come into the office, come in the back. We back there, whatever. He like go to shake my hand. He hand me the key, and I look at the key. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It's a B on the key. I'm like, okay. He like, sit in the parking lot. So I go out back, jump in that joint, and I drove it through the neighborhood. Windows down, all that shit. Drawing. Not for nothing. Yeah, that's what I did. I went and picked my daughter up from daycare. She used to go to the daycare, like not far from where my office was at, right in the hood. Whole little princess in the hood, but another story for another day. But I picked her up from daycare in the joint. So I see everybody all through the neighborhood. Summertime, all that shit drawn. I come back, get the joint back. I'm like, damn. Like, I don't even ask about it. I'm like, but damn, that's crazy. So I promise, 2 weeks later, this nigga calls me. The dude all these cars used to come from was this boy named, I'm gonna call him Jay for the story, right? Jay used to be, get money boy. So he had like every car you could think of, he was getting them. And my boy was getting crazy cars, like, it was what it was. Jimmy got into like a little situation, not to discuss his business, but he needed some money. So Mark calls me on a Friday. I'd never forget this shit. He like, yo, Jay, I got Jay here, right? Jimmy, I said his name, whatever. I got Jimmy here. He like, you want this Bentley? I'm like, fucking right I do. Now, mind you, this is the type of money that we was counting at the tag place. I literally had like 22,000 in my pocket, like real shit, on Friday night. And it's warm. Yeah, stupid. And I already got something crazy in the parking lot, but he like, yo, he need $25,000. I was like, I got 20 for him right now if you bring me the title and the keys. No bullshit. Nigga was there in 30 minutes. Gave him the money. He went on about his business. I threw my dealer tag on the back of that joint. The rest was history. Like, it's niggas in the city that'll tell you Jay Moody was the first nigga they seen with a Bentley. And I'll be honest about it. I'm not even the first nigga I seen with a Bentley. It was niggas like my nigga Big Wiz and Shiz, rest in peace. They was the first niggas that had the GTs that made me say, I want me a fucking GT. So I had a lot of thorough old heads. My old head Baron had the flying spur. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I be on the shit I be on. Because, yeah, like, I ain't trying to act like I made the shit up. But, like, I knew how to get a 1-2. Like, a lot of my love for cars came from my uncle. I used to drive his Cadillacs back in the 90s. I used to be out in them Philly streets. They like, damn, who driving that STS joint? Yeah, me. Yeah, I've been fucking with cars, yo. Yeah, I'm a car boy. That's why I drive. That's why I like cars, period. Like, it's what I like. It's my vibe. It's the vibe I'm in. That's why I like Impalas. That's why I love Range Rovers. They're my vibe. They my vibe. They my vibe. They my vibe. Cars that are reliable are my vibe. That's all I had. I had horses. I had a few lemons. but very far and few between. I had a lot of horses on my side on this journey. Cars. I'm always have me an Impala. Always. Always. I'm always have me a Range for sure. I want another Aurora. I definitely want one of those. That was such a classic car. It reminds me of a time, man. Be reminded of the times. Don't let nobody tell you what you didn't do or the shit that you did don't matter. All this shit count. You know what I mean? Keep that shit pimping, pimping. Keep creating. That's the most important part of all this shit. But sometimes you gotta get cocky. Let these niggas know who the fuck you is. And they know though, that's the part. That's why they woofing, hooting and hollering and all that shit. But and I'm sitting back loving my cars. Like thinking about cars. Super dope shit. Wait till y'all see my new car. All right, y'all. More content coming. Oh yeah, Wayne University. Wayne's World Shop. I'm in the trenches. Y'all see me. Y'all see me. I'm out here though. I never been hard to find. You see me, I'm light skinned. I ain't never been hard to find. I'm always right there. I'm like oxygen. I'm everywhere, baby. I'm everywhere, all over the place.